So I'm Lesley Cheesman, and I'm a Brit, and I currently lead the UK ministry of Agape, which is Power to Change is called Agape across Europe. So I've been leading the ministry for the last 13 years. I came to faith through the ministry when I was 14. So my first day, the first time I ever heard the gospel, I gave my life to Jesus, and then immediately somebody introduced me to an Agape staff member who said, come round on Thursday and let's do a Bible study and find out what this actually means to follow Jesus. So was discipled through the ministry and joined staff to do youth ministry. I've done leadership development, and then I've been leading the ministry for the last 13 years. I believe that a lot of people don't know Jesus because they've never heard the gospel. So for me, the very first time I heard the gospel, I was like, absolutely, why wouldn't I want to know Jesus? And my heart and my vision for the ministry here is that every single person in the UK and around the world, but let's just talk about the UK for now, will have the chance to discover Jesus for themselves and to live their life to the full in relationship with him. And I long to see the whole church mobilized to be sharing the gospel in their neighborhoods, in their workplaces. And so you think about that reality that, you know, only 3% of our population know Jesus, and only 4% of those 3% are actually being trained to share their faith in natural, confident ways. And at the same time, there's a whole load of research that was also done around the pandemic called Talking Jesus Report. And I'm trying to remember the number, but it's like 1 in 3 people are really interested in having a conversation about Jesus. So there's this big gap between people happy to talk about Jesus who don't yet know him, and Christians who are not really confident to talk about Jesus with them. So we're trying to bridge that gap right now as a ministry. Some of our goals right now are to work with, we're currently in our 5-year focus of working with 1,000 churches to see at least 50,000 Christians confident to talk about their faith in Jesus and to share the gospel with people in their neighborhoods, their workplaces, etc. So the UK is, in some respects, is spiritually hard ground, but in other respects, there's a softening and an openness to talking about Jesus. People aren't necessarily interested in talking about church, but they are interested in talking about Jesus. So that's really where our focus is as a ministry. Is one of the churches that was quite an early adopter of working with us was All Souls Church in London, which is quite a famous church. Certainly in the UK is a very famous church, very missional church. It was John Stott's church, and the guy there that's their sort of head of mission evangelist, Rico Tice, took hold of our Living and Telling resource, which is our basic Agape Power to Change resources on how to live for Jesus and talk about Jesus. So he grabbed hold of this. He said, this is absolutely fantastic. And the reason why he loved it was because it takes people actively to go to, like, you can do a course, sit in a room and do a nice course, but are you going to actively go and experience sharing your faith? And that's, I think, one of the strengths that we have as a global ministry, is that we don't just talk about talking about Jesus, we go with people to talk about Jesus. And he found it so transformative for his already missional congregation that they run it twice a year now as a church. So they're seeing all of their congregation go through this, and it's really transformed just their confidence in having conversations about Jesus and taking the initiative to have those conversations. And so we've been really encouraged by that, by how just seeing everyday people who wouldn't call themselves missionaries, who are being missional in their everyday lives. It's been really fantastic.